Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Brahma Mirishtraparan Takare Banushashi Bhumisutto Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra Shani Rahu Keteva Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om Shukraya Namaha. No. Greetings and welcome to KozmicKev100, your weekly astro video zine. I'm KozmicKev, your host, and I've been studying the zodiac for, well, I guess well over 40 years now. I usually like to start with where the moon is. We just went through a lot of changes lately, folks, but we'll start here with the moon. So if we were to look at the actual astronomical constellation, we would find the moon today in the sign of Aries. And the part of Aries that the moon is in would be a lunar mansion known as Bharani. Now, Bharani is ruled by Venus. And this is the sidereal zodiac part, which is, Jyotish. It's Vedic astrology. This is what they do in India. It's not based on seasons. It's based on how these constellations in the sky have moved. And often you've heard, oh, astrology's not real, everything's moved back. But in Vedic astrology, they keep it a little more real. And so Bharani's symbol is the yoni, the female sex organ. Its ruling deity is Yama, who is the god of death, and is also considered to be the younger half-brother of Saturn. In fact, it's said that Saturn does not do very good in sidereal Aries, and that it can make your root chakra and your basis of living very unsettled, unless you do remedies for it, which we have remedies. Om Namah Shivaya, even just a little mantra like that can sometimes help. Bharani is ruled by Venus, even though it's all within the constellation of Aries. And because of the god of death, Yama, and the yoni, the female sex organ, it's about birth and it's about death. So we say every death is a birth and every birth is a death. So we don't get one without the other. Some plants thrive very well in cold weather and snow. Here in Northeast California, where we're at the foot of the Southern Cascade Mountains and the northern extent of the Sierra Nevada, snowy winters are generally the norm, and in elevations above 4,000 feet. And so this year we had an exceptionally heavy snowpack, even at places as low as 2,500 feet. And what happens is, because it's mostly pine forest at these higher elevations, the pine forests actually get more light and more growth when there's snow on the ground. And so it was very advantageous. And once the ground gets dark, they kind of have to slow down. I mean, they'll use the water, but they're not going to grow as much necessarily under the brilliant sun and drought. They need to protect themselves from drought in some ways. So some plants, thrive in winter. That's why, even though winter is somewhat death-like, fall and winter are death-like, spring and summer are very life-giving. Plants like the crops we grow, fruit trees, corn, plants like manzanita, they're going to thrive in the sunlight. The gray pine is going to thrive. The oak trees are going to thrive in the sunlight. And Bharani is just bringing us to a place where we realize our passions. Sometimes we say that Bharani is like brahmachari. It's sort of like Peter Pan syndrome. We don't know when to grow up. And we're passionate about what we do because we've got Venus as a rulership for the lunar mansion or nakshatra. And then we have Mars, the ruler of Aries, who's about getting rid of evil and working with ecology and working with the earth. These people can be passionate gardeners. They can be passionate musicians, passionate artists of any kind of sort, and are passionate about doing their yoga practice. and they don't always know when to quit. And so in this youthfulness, we need to learn about maturity. Winter is a season that reminds us of maturity, and spring is a season that reminds us of our youthfulness. In Western astrology, we say we've got a moon in Pisces, in Taurus, rather. Pardon me. And so Taurus is an exalted moon. It's a moon that makes us feel satisfied. That's why it's exalted. You know, when we're satisfied, our emotions and our mind aren't wandering so much. That's why moon in Taurus is exalted. Moon in Scorpio is considered debilitated because we want something more. We're not satisfied, and we're sensing something's not right or perfect. So that's how these things work. And we will have that in a couple of weeks. We'll have a full moon and an eclipse. So now we just got over an eclipse. Now today in the sidereal zodiac, in the Vedic astrology, Jupiter has moved into Aries. So we're in this new cycle now, and there's this freshness, all this kind of death and decay we've gone through. Jupiter in Pisces, although it's good in its own sign, Jupiter in Aries gives us new hope, that we can try things differently, that we can have physical strength, that we can work with the earth in a better way. And so that's part of today too. And I think with this being Earth Day as well, or at least tomorrow's Earth Day, this is Earth Day weekend, that we can do better with the relationship we have with everything Creator has given us. And with that, we will find a much more satisfying life. I think the flooding going on in the San Joaquin Valley, where there used to be a large lake that was just drained, to temporarily make a whole bunch of money. Provide people food, but people were providing each other food for decades, and every big city had truck farms, and once we had refrigerated boxcars, we're like, oh, California can deliver all the food we need to the whole wide world. Well, that's an incredible stress on the ecosystem of California, and it's also incredibly disempowering for all those other municipalities that used to have farmers on the outskirts of their town. And I think over the last 50, 40 years, we're learning that, and there's been this strong back to the land movement, but it needs to be stronger. And there needs to be balance. And this artificial world that people are getting into, I think it causes mental health issues. And I appreciate you probably looking on this through, artificial intelligence. And don't forget to subscribe and share. We made it to 802 subscribers. I'd love to hit 1,000, folks. Please share this video with your friends. We're going to go into Western horoscopes based on sun signs. If you know your rising sign, that's more powerful. Even your moon sign could be a benefit during this. And so we will start with you, Aries. So greetings, Aries. Welcome to your horoscope. Today, tomorrow, this weekend's about your values. It's about your family. Another thing I didn't say earlier is that Mercury went retrograde this morning. It's retrograde in Taurus, which is, Mercury in Taurus really symbolizes money, especially for you, Aries. And we're hearing, because of digital dollar and the Chinese yuan being more reliable than the dollar now, there's all this economic moving and posturing and positioning. And whatever sovereignty we might have had left seems to be, going away. And you're a very independent, self-preserving sign, Aries. And so I see you making moves. Mars in Cancer, it's sort of an emotional place. It's in the house of older parents. It's in the house of fixed assets. It's in the house of history and ancestry. And so it is so hard to find redemption because one simple phrase can cancel all the good work somebody's done in our culture. It's weird in a way. Because we're wired to be negative. That's the problem. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope, and happy birthday if you're a Taurus having a birthday this week. I'd like to give a birthday shout to my niece, Misha. Misha lives in Tijuana with her husband, Julian. And I believe she is 27 today, on the 23rd. So Sunday she's 27. So happy birthday, Misha. And happy birthday to all my early Taurus friends who are having birthdays this week. We're all sidereal Aries, actually. So Venus is now in Gemini. And that's the second house. So that's also paying attention to money. Mind on your money, money on your mind. What to do about it, how to be wise with it. Never forget to give to others. I think that's one of the wisdoms. Also, real estate, food, gardens, working with things that are sustainable and are going to give back in the future, cutting back on buying new things and getting things that are used, recycled. Those are positive strategies. So bringing more positivity, and it's like, the dark days are over now. You're not in a 12th house experience anymore. Jupiter, sorry about that. Jupiter's in the 12th house, and that's actually kind of a blessing in a way, because it teaches you, take some alone time, and that sometimes we have big losses, but get in touch with the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. Get in touch with that eternal aspect of God that is neither non-gender or gender. It is all, into that all, the creator of the universe and the creator of compassion, and enter into that heart of compassion and know that there's an energy in this earth, in the heavens, in all of it, that loves you and finds purpose in you being here. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so this time of year symbolizes loss. Sun's in your 12th house, and so is Mercury, and Mercury's retrograde. So in a lot of ways, things are kind of wacky. There's a lot of wacky stuff. And you're having to deal with karma from maybe some past mistakes. And you know what? That's okay. I think it's really important to practice a lot of self-compassion and compassion for other people. It's easy to have compassion for people that we think have done the right things, or that people that we're benefiting from. But how about people that are always doing the wrong things and we resent them? I've heard people say, it's not important to have compassion for them. They're horrible. No, it is. Because really, even if they've done us wrong, we're carrying their wrongness in us. Do we need that in our sphere? If we can let it go and say, well, they might have been abused enough and they don't know how to behave properly, we free ourselves quite a bit. We're not carrying it. It's not our responsibility to correct other people's behavior unless there's a case they're directly hurting somebody we know that we have to protect them. Really. A lot of times it's better to let things play their course. Now, one thing you do have, though, is you have a lot of love in your heart right now, and you're more attractive than usual. And there's this aspect of God, of goodness, of the divine, that's allowing you to have grace and have more creativity and to have this sense of beauty. I would keep a dream journal, because I think what I see the next 4 weeks is about preparing yourself to be a better new you. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. So, let's see, I know we're going to have a moon in Cancer Monday afternoon, Tuesday and Wednesday. So those will be your power days this week. And you're very comfortable with Taurus energy. It's your 11th house, so that's it helps you with profit, making money. It's also getting people who are experienced, maybe a little bit above you, that you socialize with, that you hang out with. It's also about making plans for the future. And one thing about having Mars in your first house is that even though Mars is considered debilitated in Cancer, when it's in your first house, it cancels the debilitation. It makes you more Aries-like, and so you're courageous. And you're standing up for really good values, you know. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It's because Capricorn is cardinal Earth, and it's activating good Earth consciousness. Well, does Mars activate good water consciousness? Well, hopefully. You know, I mean, hopefully it will. But I live in a state where we've really abused water as a resource. When I think of the California pre-gold rush, it was a virtual paradise, especially pre-missions. It was all, for the most part, indigenous plants and native foliage and a native people that were taking care of it. Hats off to Ali Mender's Night, you know, for the local group TECH, Traditional Ecological Knowledge. We want to bring that together, folks. You know, when we make assumptions about other people and hurt them, we miss out on their gifts, and that's what I want to keep getting back at. Even the people we don't necessarily like I don't, you know, we'll say I don't like Trump, or I don't like Biden, or I don't like Ron DeSantis in Florida, or I don't like Gavin Newsom here in California. I mean, it's hard to have compassion on people in power. They seem like they get enough help as it is, so we're not so worried about them. But what about what's happening in our hearts? Are we shutting down? I love the scene in Hero, before he gets shot with a bunch of arrows, where he just opens his heart out to the Emperor. And the Emperor's pride, of course, ruins the whole thing. But the point is, he was in his heart, and that made him a hero. So stay in your heart. Well, greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. Well, I said, sorry, David. David's not a Leo, so I'm not too worried. Let's see. Taurus symbolizes your 10th house. That's the career. This is where you are active in the world. This is where you play out your karma. This is where your good works are shown to the world, your talents. And generally people that have a Taurus midheaven, that means most Leo risings, what they're doing is they are beautifiers. They work with gardening. They work with cooking. They work with artwork, plants. They work with music. All of these things enhance our human environment as gifts. So if you're working in some way, any of those areas, it's going to be an enhancement. And so we want to support the enhancement. Now, by the end of the week, moon will be in your sign. You know, by Thursday, you'll be feeling it. All right. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so Taurus time is a great time for Virgo because it's the 9th house. And actually, I'm kind of looking forward to this week because it's a big shift from the energy we've had all during the last year. Wise teachers, exotic experiences, foreign travel, higher education, a giving heart, a spiritual message that you can take in and give back to the world. You can support charitable causes more, that more good fortune is coming your way. Mercury retrograde. One of the things, having this North Node, Rahu, Uranus, unpredictability, Rahu, shadowy behavior with Jupiter, is that there might be an element of manipulation and confusion. So it's really important that you stay in your heart, that you stay in your meditation practice, Virgo, and not be swayed by what's out here. If we create things from within, they will be more permanent. They will not get us off center. If we are projecting out there, negative or positive, we get swayed. We get out of that center. Back to the present. Back to the center of our heart. And you actually have the greatest gifts right now to be the best teacher, the most dynamic person, and that's what we need right now. We need that dynamic energy. And I am so sorry I did not remember to turn off my phone. But yeah, that is the essence of caring. Caring for other people, and that is what you're going to be able to do as you care for yourself. All right. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Venus in Gemini is actually pretty favorable. It's also ninth house, so it's a ninth house Lagnisha position. It's like just like what I said to Virgo, higher knowledge, being generous. Maybe healing a relationship with your father, healing a relationship with other teachers, opportunities for travel, opportunities for leisure. There's a lot of planets in Taurus. That's your 8th house. This is not an easy time for Libras. 8th house is other people's power. 8th house is karmic obstacles and karmic interruptions. The one good thing about 8th house transits is that if you ask other people for help, they're going to help you. Because it's not about you. And if you get to that place where you realize, hey, this isn't about me, everything's fine. Because you can't control other people's behavior. You can't control their anger, their satisfaction, their dissatisfaction, none of that. And that's okay. You just humbly do the best you can and realize that in another 4.5 weeks you're going to shine and things are going to be a lot better. And most of you are sidereal Virgos, so this Mercury retrograde thing in the 8th house, I wouldn't take it too lightly. Don't consume, okay? Don't consume until after the 15th of May. Just chill. That's what I'd say. Just chill. Take it easy. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. Well, Scorpio right now is on the outside looking in. This is opposite of your time of year. And there's actually kind of a nice partnership between Taurus and Scorpio. They actually have some similar qualities, Taurus being most sensual, Scorpio being most sexual, Taurus being most materialistic, Scorpio being most transcendental, transformational. And so we don't worry about what we can't control right now. In fact, this is your partnership sign. And I'm sure the libido's intensified with Venus in the 8th house. But overall, is how do we negotiate when our partners are unpredictable, where there might be something shadowy going on, and you're trying to stay in your heart? That'll be the questions to ask. And also, on the other hand, partners can be innovative, and they can be inspiring you. And so you can be enjoying this eccentricity. It's not all negative, but communication with them could be a little bit off. And, one thing about Taurus as a sign I've noticed is that they never really like to ever admit they're wrong. I don't know if any of you other astrologers or astrology students have noticed this, but they're like, oh, everything's been good. I've never. It's not completely true, okay, it's partially true, but there's something about them. Why would that be? Because they're fixed earth. Anything that violates their potential for stability is seen as a general threat to their self-perception. So we got to be really gentle when we're correcting other people. We can't just go off the hook on folks, you know? Compassion, compassion. You know, basically we're dealing with a world of 2-year-old, 3-year-olds, and 4-year-old mentalities because most people didn't get their needs met at that age. Once we get that straight, everything's going to be fine, you know. Just don't ask them to suck your tongue. Oh, God. Sorry, Dolly. Well, greetings, Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope. Jupiter ruled sign, Jupiter's in Aries. Jupiter's in your 5th house. Joy, joy, joy. How positive, how wonderful, how blessed you are at this time. Well, yeah, I know. Venus is in the 7th house. I mean, your love life should be flourishing. People want to partner up with you in a really nice way. Yeah, but KozmicKev, have you noticed all those planets in the 6th house? Okay, yeah, I have. It's challenging. You're going to have to work extra hard. You might work with people with attitude. You might work with people that are unpredictable and just want attention by shocking you or being weird. I mean, those things are bound to happen. The other thing is that you have to be faithful with exercise and diet right now. Here in the North Sacramento Valley where I live, you know, a lot of pollen comes out this time of year and people have allergies, and avoiding allergens, alcohol, wheat, dairy products, sugar. These are ways of helping yourself maintain better health during this period. And so sticking it to the straight and narrow is going to help, you know, and a lot of times just eating for the season, staying away from those foods that are bad, and if you've already got a limited diet like a vegan, you might want to consider, you know, maybe just a little bit of seafood, maybe a little bit more protein, you know, so that to support your immune system and get yourself through. We're eating bugs, you know. That's what the original closest to vegan society did, is they ate bugs. That's how they got their B vitamins and stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, overall you're blessed. Try and work on the patience, and enjoy your own personal stability. Make an altar. Have a devotional life. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Saturn's in Pisces, 3rd house. How are things with your siblings? How are things with your neighbors? I think one of the best things to do with a Saturn in 3rd house would be to write down long-term goals, and then to write down areas that are challenging you that you'd like to improve. And that includes neighbors. You know, doing nice things for neighbors. It's so positive. Sometimes we have neighbors that do nice things for us and we don't always know the way to reciprocate. And I think a lot of times when people are really powerful around us, they like to stay in power, and they're not always as graceful about receiving gifts too. The people that give gifts. So there's lots of balance and negotiating. Taurus is a great sign for you. It's mostly 5th house, you know, so a lot of heart-opening things, but there's also kind of weirdness, so a lot of things are focused on your children. If you're somebody with children right now, whether they're adults or in the child phase, your offspring, your creative projects, they're needing work, they're needing attention, and that's another way to help be in your heart right now. And understand with this Mercury retrograde in Taurus that there's a chance after the 15th they're going to have to go back and do some things over anyhow. It's all in the dance, folks. It's going to be okay. And pardon me as I've been overcoming a cold. Greetings, Aquarius. Welcome your horoscope. Taurus time is kind of an introspect time. It's the fourth house, and the weather's beautiful, the sun's out. It could be a time for you to be more of a homebody, to pay more attention to your parents and fixed assets, your home in particular, if you own property, and to work on that. I noticed a lot of people working on their roofs lately, and I thought to myself, that's significant. It's rainy. Here in California, we've had rain almost perpetually from November through March. We did have a break in February. We had about a 3-week break with almost no rain, and that was nice, But beyond that, it's probably been the stormiest, rainiest I remember since 1997-98 winter and the 1982-1983 winter. Yeah, we old people, we've seen stuff. Yeah. But how glorious at the same time. What a gift this water's been after being so parched for the most part the last 12 years. Grace, grace has been given to us. Now, Pluto's in your first house. Being a person who personally has Pluto in my first house in my chart, it gives you insight. It gives you insights. Good time to journal. Good time to record your insights. Venus in Gemini, 5th house. You're more creative. The artwork is doing you good. But I see a lot of home projects going on for Aquarius right now, especially with Uranus being there. Saturn in Pisces. It's relooking, redoing your finances to some extent. That's going to be part of the mission this week. But what I see is you'll be making friends, helping out family, kids, and moving forward with what you're good at. Greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. Yes, I'm doing Pisces. For the Pisces who's going to the bathroom or is asleep and says, I didn't do Pisces. I'm like, what's going on here? I mean, with Mercury retrograde, I understand systems break down. Oh, I know. So is the human condition. Having gratitude for our challenges and difficulties. Of course, none of us want to have challenges or difficulties. Why be grateful for them? Cosmic Kev is not just going to expand them. No, actually not. Being grateful when you're having an illness, when you're having a challenge, or a disappointment, it's like putting water on fire. It actually soothes and eases the burn. And it creates a fertility for some life to come out of this. I am all about life. I want more life for you, more life for me, for my family, my loved ones. And real life. Real life is not control. Real life is being in a flow where we realize that we are constantly in uncertainty and that we, like humans, are like weather patterns. All kinds of waves flow in and out of us while we're alive. And if we can receive it with grace, can we be grateful for the calm day? Can we be grateful for the windy day? Can we be grateful for the snowy day, the rainy day? The hail that caused us to replant everything. All of these things is what creates a better life. Now, with Saturn in your first house, you're taking a hard, cold look at yourself right now. And you're having to be the mature person. You're having to be the better person at this time. And And so, this old soul Pisces, you can't just get into this enigmatic, everything all blurs out into one, because you're doing yourself and the people around you a disservice. You got to get more Einstein-like here. Be a Pisces like Einstein or George Washington. Show some leadership capabilities in some ways. I'm not saying these two individuals are perfect in every way, but there were qualities that led them to give us higher things. Rather than nitpick and destroying whatever there is that's good, it's like picking at a scab. Let's do what we can to let the scabs heal. Let's see this time, this Taurus time, as a potential to make new friends, to heal our relationship with our siblings, and to journal our best thoughts and poetry and our best desires and put them out there so that we can fulfill better plans in the future and really get it together as wise, compassionate, imaginative people and put it in that best place. I am so grateful for you being here with me today. Please subscribe. Please share this with friends. I'm so grateful for you in this journey. Please make comments. I appreciate it. We'll do this again next week. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat.